team, it's time for a staff video update. Sorry for the delay. I was at Fusion Camp last night, got home at like 12:30. And it's just so much fun to go back and see how Fusion Camp continues, the vision of Fusion Camp. We have so many vision carriers that it's just been fun. I wore a shirt last night that's like a vintage Fusion Camp shirt. It's older than the majority of the students who were there. I think it came out in 2009. And just to see year after year God's continued impact is great. And I love the opportunity to speak. So I don't have to. I love it. But at some point I'll probably be too old to speak. I'm probably getting closer to that. But man, what a blast. And so I want to update you on a couple of things that I just didn't want them to miss the opportunity to talk about. Number one, I was invited to be on a podcast. And so by a friend of mine, Sean Morgan, I'm a part of his cohort with other mega church pastors who transition into leaders like Joel Thomas, Kevin Queen, Aaron Brockett with Traders Point, Zach Stevens at Faith Promise in Knoxville, and Chris Fletcher at Manna Church, Julian, who's out in California, and a couple of others that, we get together a couple times a year and learn together from great leaders. He invited me to be on his Leaders in Living Room podcast. And if you're just looking for a little context or history, or you have people in your circle, your dream team, who like hearing about some of the things that have happened in our past and what we've learned from them, he walks through the leadership transition with me, and it was fun to be able to talk about that together. So I just wanted to include that. Feel free to listen. We have Serve Day coming up, July 22nd. So celebrating Fusion Camp, celebrating high school camp and the life change there. And then we have an awesome opportunity to serve our city, and can't wait to see what happens out of that. And then this weekend, we're kicking off a brand new series called Firm Foundation, where we will be walking through the book of Colossians. So here's the thing. This weekend would be a good opportunity for you as for those of you at campus level, or with your dream team, for those of you on the central side or whatever, or as a family, to read through the book of Colossians and just make that a part of your reading rhythm. The Living It Out will be focused a little bit around that, so that'll be awesome. But this is just a cool way to go, hey, let's do a little bit deeper dive into this book. And every time you read it, just trust that God's Spirit will speak. And it's like he's going to pull a phrase or a word. You don't have to read it through every day, but like repeat chapter after chapter. And it's like, okay, what is my daily bread? Like, what is God giving me for today? And where Paul starts is a very clear point to how Jesus is the center of everything. So that's what I'll be talking about this weekend. I'm excited about that. All right. The other thing I wanted to let you know was just an update on Bill. We celebrated Bill a couple of weeks ago, and that went great. I love the opportunity to be able to share with our broader staff some of the things that you probably weren't aware of, that the ways that Bill Trout has impacted our church, and we are so thankful for his investment in our organization over the years. And one of the things that I said was that he was going to be spending more time focusing on some restaurants that he opened in Costa Rica, and that is true. We knew he was going to be leaving that day to head down there to have some crucial conversations about, they had two restaurants, and so there was one that wasn't performing very well, and ultimately, Bill and his business partner, after going on that trip, decided to shut down all of the operations of their restaurant. So the timing of this is kind of weird, right? Where it's like, hey, Bill's going to focus on this. And then after him going down and investigating some of the stuff, like with any business, I mean, there's always some risk associated, but as he investigated some of that, it was not their intent, but based on some of the performance over the last couple of weeks and through some discoveries that they had while they were there, it's like, hey, this is probably the best decision, is to cease operations as they move forward. So will there be other restaurants in the future? Perhaps. I know Bill is still committed to trying to invest in business opportunities for the graduating kids out of the CDI program so that they can not only have a sustainable wage, but a way to really make even more that would be cycled and funneled back into the church to expand the impact and also break generations of poverty, generational poverty in some of the homes there. So that mission and vision is still there, but right now, For those of you that have started a business, it's like not every idea works forever. Sometimes it works for a season, and this was one of those ideas that worked for a season, and God's just creating a little margin for hopefully another opportunity down the road. So I just wanted to give you a heads up for that. Bill's doing great. I mean, everything's fine. He didn't lose it. There was probably some loss involved, but they went in aware of some of that. And we'll just be excited to see what God does next. So I just wanted to let you know that if you hear no more restaurants, it wasn't like a secret or a surprise. Okay? So those are the things that I wanted to pass on with you. I know some of you are probably getting questions about the election that's coming up, August 8th special election, and then what's on the ballot in November as it relates to abortion. So I know I'm whetting your appetite. We're going to talk about that probably next week, walk through some of the things that you're probably hearing out there. And my hope is to have a little bit of an update on how we're going to navigate that as a church in light of our mission. And so I'll keep you updated. All right. Love you guys. Have a great week. And to all of you who help with high school camp and fusion camp, just hats off. Way to go. So thankful to be a part of a church investing in the next generation. See ya.